How you doing, everyone? My name is Arthur Green the Fourth from the men's track and field team, and I do the hurdles. The book today I will be reading with you guys is ABCs of Money for Girls and Boys by Gregory S. Davis. A stands for assets, the useful or valuable thing. Asia knows assets like art, land, minerals, money, and stocks. Ownership of company can gain value over time. B stands for bank, a place to save and borrow money. James knows people deposit money in a bank account to gain interest. C stands for credit. Credit is borrowing money from a bank or a business. Credit is also a history of repayment. Your credit history is how you use to repay the borrowed money. Is a graded by a credit score. 850 is the highest credit score. Joy knows credit lets you buy things with borrowed money that must be repaid quickly. Coins, a flat metal type of money with a stamp of the president or a well-known person. Sue knows she can use coins at a parking meter or to save for the future. D stands for deposit. Money kept in the bank to earn interest. Margarita told Greg she makes deposits at the bank, by phone or at the ATM. E stands for educated, giving advice of training or practice. Aisha knows she can become educated in school, at home by reading and practicing in a lab. F stands for fees. Money paid for services like bank deposits or a credit card use. Priya knows fees should match the service provided to a board, taken away from her assets. G, share stands for gifts. Share your gifts by using your time, money, and talents and hearts to help other people. G stands for government, providing protection and rules for everyday behavior of its citizens. James learned the United States Constitution is a document containing the laws of the U.S. government. H stands for house. A building, a building for living is often the largest investment a person or family will make. The niece has a goal of buying her first home by the age of 25, with cash or with borrowed money from the bank. I stands for interest, a fee paid for borrowed money or money made on a investment. If the niece borrows $100,000, the bank may charge her 4% interest. If she has a good credit score above 700, for the 100,000 she borrows, the niece will repay 100,000 plus 100,000 times 4%, which is $4,000. Well, that would be the $4,000 interest paid. If the niece earns $100,000 from her moving business and deposits in her bank account, the bank may pay her 2% interest on her 100,000. So you do the math, it'd be $100,000 times 2%, or equals 2,000. So the interest made was $2,000. J stands for journal. The Wall Street Journal is a widely read business newspaper. Denise, the founder of Denise Moving Services, leads one of the fastest growing companies in the whole wide world. K stands for 401k plan, a company sponsored account that allows employees to save money for retirement. Margaret told Greg she deposited $80 into her bank to use now and 20 into her 401k retirement. L stands for loan. Loan is money borrowed that is repaid with interest. If the niece borrows $100,000 from the bank to buy a house, it is called a mortgage loan. The loan is repaid with 4% interest. So it would be $100,000 times 4% interest equals $4,000. So the total amount she will pay is $104,000. M stands for money, something that generally accepts in exchange for goods or services. Sue knows she can use coin to buy gum into and cash to buy ice cream or an ice cold beverage or pop. N stands for New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ, the largest American stock exchange. Arturo likes to invest in companies that sell stock. Stock exchanges to raise money for building amusement parks. O stands for oil. Oil is an asset. Oil is refined into petroleum products like gas and the largest U.S. energy source. James learned from the EIA.gov that petroleum is used to fuel vehicles, heat buildings, and produce electricity. P stands for price, the amount of money given for a sale of a thing. PRI likes to add the prices together before checking out. So $2 for bread, $1 for apples, 25 cents for the bag equals $3.25. Q stands for quantitative easing, a way for a central bank like the Federal Reserve to increase the money supply and lower interest rates. Arturo learned quantitative easing increases the money supply for banks and lower interest rates on loans. R stands for Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is the central banking system of the United States of America. Denise learned the Federal Reserve, 1, promotes maximum employment, and 2, controls the U.S. interest rates. S stands for save, to put aside as a store or reserve. Margaret saves 10% of her money for retirement in her 401k plan. Sue saves coins to buy gum and cash to buy ice cream. T stands for time value of money. TVM says $1 invested today is worth more than $1 invested tomorrow. If at the age of 21, James invested $10,000 every year for 30 years and earns 8% each year, he may have $1.3 million at by the age of 51. If James wants 10 years, if James waits 10 years and begins investing $10,000 every year, earns 8% after 20 years, he may have $494,000 by the age of 51. James learned investing early gives more money and time to grow. U stands for U.S. Treasury Securities. So, to plan to pay for U.S. government spending offers investors a way to save for the future. Aisha grandparents bought a 10-year-old T bonds for her 18th birthday. Birthday at treasurydirect.gov. V stands for value, a fair return for something like goods or services. Denise learned the value of a new home by speaking with her real estate agent and studying nearby home sale prices. W stands for worth. A person's net worth is the value of their assets minus liabilities. So assets minus liabilities equal your net worth. Arturo learned net worth equals assets or useful things in land minus liability, the borrowed money, like loans. X stands for Xerox Company. In 2009, Ursula Burns became Chief Executive Officer of Xerox. Joy learned Ursula Burns is a Panamanian descent from New York, studied chemical engineering, and became the first black woman to be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Y stands for yield, to produce return from an investment like the U.S. Treasuries. James learned 30 years U.S. Treasury normally offers higher yields than 3-month U.S. Treasuries. And Z stands for zero, the absence of measurable quantity. Asia has zero chance of winning if she does not try to act on her idea. You must take your shot. And I'm going to leave you with a joke. Knock, knock. Who's there? Art. Art who? R2, D2. Have a wonderful rest of the day, kids.